会让我看重我，
不会让，就是说就爱护你到什么程度？
连洗碗我都没洗碗。反正我现在衣服都没洗，
从来不洗衣服。
衣服碗都是我妈帮我洗的。
When their 4-year-old son accidentally went missing, the parents gave up their business and sold their property, searching desperately for 17 years. When they finally found their son, they discovered that he was about to inherit tens of millions of yuan from his adoptive parents. And when he saw his biological parents, his expression was quite awkward, as if he was not willing to go home with them. So between the poor biological father and the wealthy adoptive father, whom would the son choose? Before the year 2000, the couple Ma Yongxiang and his wife Wu Daoming lived in Huaxi District, Guiyang, Guizhou, running a tea business. They had a house and a car, lived comfortably, and were admired by everyone around them. However, their happy life was soon shattered. Ma Yongxiang and his wife Wu Daoming had 6 children, the first 5 were daughters. In the year 2000, when their youngest son Ma Zhongfu was 4 years old, their 9-year-old second older daughter suddenly went missing after school. The couple searched for a long time but found no trace. Misfortunes never come alone. While the whole family was still distressed, the little boy Ma Zhongfu also disappeared. It was September at the time, and the tea shop of Ma Yongxiang and his wife was extremely busy. The couple was overwhelmed and had no time to look after their children, so they entrusted their son to a neighbor they had a good relationship with. The neighbor agreed very readily, and the couple felt reassured. But only one day later, the entire neighbor family vanished as if evaporating from the world, and their little boy was gone with them. Only then did they realize that their neighbors were actually vicious child traffickers. This son was born when his wife Wu Daoming was over 40 years old, and he was deeply cherished by the whole family. After he was abducted, along with the disappearance of their second older daughter, it felt as if the sky had collapsed for the couple. They were completely heartbroken and even lost the will to continue running their business. Every day, they lived in regret and unbearable pain. Holding the clothes their son once wore, and the photos taken 2 months before his disappearance, Wu Daoming looked at these items all day long, crying herself into exhaustion, even developing thoughts of ending her life. To find their lost child and to relieve the knot in their hearts, the couple sold all their property and gave up their thriving business, putting all their savings into searching for their son. They went to the local police station every few days, and the officers sympathized with their situation and tried their best to help. However, 17 years passed in the blink of an eye, and they still had not found their beloved son. In their despair, the couple heard about a reunion event where many abducted children would attend. They decided to sign up and take a chance. After some time, an incredible piece of good news arrived. A 21-year-old young man matched the information they had provided. This young man, named Wu Xiaopeng, was exactly the son who had been missing for 17 years. However, along with the good news came a piece of bad news. Their 4-year-old son had been abducted and, 17 years later, had become a rich second generation, with tens of millions of yuan waiting for him to inherit. Upon hearing this, his biological parents Ma Yongxiang and his wife were filled with both joy and sorrow. The joy was that their son was finally found, but the sorrow was that he didn't seem very happy. The now 21-year-old Wu Xiaopeng told the story of his abduction. His adoptive parents were from Fujian and owned a jewelry shop, so they were very wealthy. Besides him, there was also an older sister in the family. Although they had no blood relation, everyone cherished him dearly. Wu Xiaopeng admitted that he had never done any heavy work since childhood, and even washing clothes and dishes had always been done by his adoptive mother. When he talked about this, his face was full of happiness, showing that what he said was true. The reason Wu Xiaopeng attended the reunion event was that when he was 6 years old, he overheard from a neighbor that he was actually abducted. Since then, it was like a thorn planted in his heart, and he wanted to know where his biological parents were. He originally attended with the mindset of simply giving it a try, but unexpectedly, it succeeded at once. His biological parents appeared before him in tears, but he couldn't squeeze out even a smile. When his biological mother, Wu Daoming, cried and tried to hug him, he looked resistant. He was not afraid of reuniting with his biological parents. He simply had never thought of leaving his adoptive parents. Yet his biological mother held him tightly, apologizing, and saying that once they found his second older sister, the whole family would be reunited forever. After hesitating for a long time, he decided to follow his biological parents home first. Returning to the hometown that had haunted the couple for 17 years, everyone who saw him and Ma Yong-seong exclaimed how much they resembled each other. During the visit, the mother Wu Dao-ming held her son's hand tightly, afraid he would disappear again. The father Ma Yong-seong remained silent, but tears shimmered in his eyes, never looking away from his son. Wu Xiaopeng felt extremely conflicted. In the Ma family, he was the only son. In Fujian, he was also the only male descendant. Both families wanted to keep him. While he hesitated, his adoptive father called from Fujian and asked if he would return. Wu Xiaopeng honestly said he hadn't figured it out yet. His adoptive father only said one sentence, "I hope you can come back and inherit my property." Meanwhile in Guizhou, all the relatives encouraged him to think from his biological parents' perspective. They had suffered so much pain for so many years. His biological mother also noticed his hesitation, repeatedly telling him to stay, marry a local wife, and never leave the family again. One is the grace of birth, the other is the grace of raising, both placed before him at the same time. What choice could this young man make?
The
4-year-old boy who had been abducted was finally found after 17 years, but he had become a wealthy young man with tens of millions of yuan waiting for him. For the biological parents who had sold all their property and exhausted all their savings in the search, this was undoubtedly a heavy blow. His biological mother, Wu Dao-ming, only wanted her son to stay by her side, marry a wife, and have children. After losing her son in childhood, she could no longer endure losing him again. But Wu Xiaopeng continued to talk about his life with his adoptive parents, how well they treated him, and how they supported his search for his biological family. Every sentence was filled with gratitude and dependence on them. He always referred to his adoptive parents as dad and mom, and this pierced the hearts of Ma Yong-seong and his wife, leaving them heartbroken and helpless. It was clear that Wu Xiaopeng attended the reunion only to find out who his biological parents were. He had never intended to return to live with them. His attitude terrified his biological mother, because finding her son yet not being able to keep him was like losing him a second time. This kind of regained and lost again pain was even worse than never finding him at all. His older biological sister also told him how much their parents had suffered all these years, hoping he would consider their feelings and not ignore them just because his adoptive family was wealthier. After thinking for a long time, Wu Xiaopeng made his decision. He didn't want to abandon either side. He knew blood ties were strong, but after 17 years, he was too unfamiliar with his biological family. Staying there might make him uncomfortable, while his adoptive family treated him with unconditional love, and he didn't want to disappoint them. He said he would stay with his biological parents for a while, enjoy the reunion, and then think carefully about his future. However, anyone with eyes could see that he had already made his choice. He would eventually return to his adoptive family. Many people who learned of this story discussed it online. Some supported his decision, believing his biological parents were too selfish and should consider the child's future more. Others disagreed, saying that child trafficking is a crime, and no matter how well the adoptive parents treated him, they were still part of the crime, and their wealth should not overshadow the fact that they destroyed another family.
In this story, no one truly has it easy. His biological parents spent 17 years searching for their child, selling their property, and giving up their business, turning pain into hope. To them, their child was not a choice, but the only meaning in their lives. But when the child finally stood before them, time had already washed that bond into unfamiliarity, a kind of sorrow outsiders can hardly understand. And as for the adoptive parents, they gave the boy a privileged life, spoiling him so much that he never had to wash a dish. For him, that was the security he grew up with, the home he recognized. But no matter how much love they gave, the beginning of this relationship still carried an unerasable shadow. The child was abducted. As for Wu Xiaopeng, he was not heartless. He was simply torn apart. He had blood ties, but no memory affection, but no idea where to place it. No matter what he chose, someone would be hurt. This is the cruelest part of life. Sometimes there is no right answer, only less pain and fewer regrets. So what do you think? Was Wu Xiaopeng's choice selfish or helpless? Poor biological parents or wealthy adoptive parents? If it were you, what would you choose? Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. We will see you in the next one.